Honouring the old school mantra of community driven ensures every morsel of content that finds its way into game is approved by the players. But have you ever wondered how your suggestions are handled by the team? Behind the scenes caught up with your 4 favourite mods to discuss how your concepts and creations become a reality.
Old School Runescape begins and ends with what the players are talking about, what the players are asking us for.
It'll either be a problem they want solving or be an idea to improve the game.
Players submit their ideas to us, like Twitter, forums, etc. We will discuss between us, make sure it's viable, then offer a dev blog, make sure it's something that the community wants.
The dev blog is like the holy grail when we're developing, to make sure that we're staying as close as possible to what the players expect.
Then it goes out to a poll, they vote yes or no if they want to see it in game.
We have the polls set so that you only get a piece of content if it gets 75% of the vote. It means that in order for a piece of content to be approved for Old School Runescape, a big supermajority of the players has to come together and say, yes, we do want this in our game.
And if it passes a poll, we can then put it into game. Once it's in game, we then start getting the feedback from the players on how they want to change it to make it the best bit of content they can have. Once we have a manageable selection of ideas, we need to look at how practical they are to get into game. For example, we're working on the Motherlode mine at the moment. That came from a player design content competition. We started with hundreds of suggestions, we broke it down into 10 really good ideas. Once we polled them to the players and got a winner, we then went into the pre-production stage.
Generally it's a very fun process for us because we can really sort of let go and let loose with it, let the creativity flow.
Motherlode mine saves us a few steps there because the player submitted his idea of what shape the room should be, what the style should be, what kind of cultural references he'd like to see in it, and we could kind of just run with that.
Some of the first things we need to think about when putting a piece of content into game are the logistics. First of all, we need to find out where there's space and make sure it fits there. We then need to make sure there are some clear changeable elements in there so we can make sure it's balanced properly.
So we're going to go ahead, we're going to take that suggestion, we're going to evolve it, we're going to really integrate it into the game, and we're going to make that player proud who suggested it.
Once we know what we're doing with pre-production, we can then move into the production phase. So the other guys talk technical stuff that goes way over my head, and I wait for them to put it onto the test server so I can make sure it's as close to the dev blog as it can be.
My contribution towards the overall production process is to balance the new content. Make sure that anything like new armour, new weapons, anything that relates to a skill like the dragon pickaxe is balanced. It can't be too great, but it can't be too bad, it's got to be worth using.
At all points during production, we keep the players informed of what we're doing. We are always happily tweeting screenshots of what we've made, partly because we think it's cool, so we'd like to share it, and partly to make sure the players know which direction we're going.
I mean, we're always very receptive to player feedback. Players are always telling us to push the boundaries of an idea they've given us. There are a lot of players out there who tell us that we shouldn't update anything at all. For the most part, I don't think that's what people really want. What they really want is something that speaks to things they love but provides them with something new, which is really, really important for us to really evolving what we're doing.
We don't have a graphics artist at the moment. We don't have a musician at the moment to make the assets for the game. So we have to rely on the skills that we've got. Ash is fantastic at music, and he does all the music that goes into game currently, and the players love it. Dan does most of the graphics work, and again the players are enjoying what he's doing, but hopefully we'll have a new graphics artist soon, and then we can start doing some really cool stuff. Once Dan and Ash have done their bit and they've made the content, they then put it into QA.
I like to take a destructive approach when testing, trying to break the game. I find it's the best way to find out all the bugs, which allows the devs to iron out all the creases. The purpose of testing is not only to make sure that the content works, but to make sure that we cover all our bases. If a quest tells a player to turn right and they turn left, what happens if they turn left? We have 160,000 different players, and we need to make sure we cover as many possibilities as we can, because they'll all do something a little bit differently.
The weirdest bug I've heard of is face crotch. It's where there's a graphical bug and people's faces started appearing on their crotch.
I found that the thermonuclear smoke devil dropped 150 occult necklaces instead of 1, which with a new item release wouldn't have been great for the economy. QA in a nutshell is playing in the game for a living, and it's awesome.
Once everyone's happy with the content, we then move into the release stage. Do we want to advertise it on Facebook through performance marketing? Do we want to send out an email? Do we want new graphic work for the Facebook pages, the Twitter pages? Do we need specific images for the news posts? It's all the sort of stuff we have to think about before we release a new piece of content. Live streaming schedule, I'll be surprised if anyone doesn't know about our live streaming schedule, but we live stream twice a week. We have a community stream Wednesday at 9 o'clock, and we have the developer Q&A at 5 o'clock on Thursday.
Thanks chaps. Next month we'll check out more old school goodness, probably featuring polls. Remember to like, share and subscribe to stay current with all things RuneScape.